Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of the Binding of Isaac Repentance, not Rebirth, my bad. And it's a fine, nice morning and it's time for another run. I've played the game a bit since yesterday, like 3 or 4 runs, and I feel like it's time to do a greed run. April Fools, I'm just kidding. Let's do something else, like I've done Lazarus, I'm not gonna do Eden yet. Let's do Maggie, She's a classic character, she has a big heart, literally. And we can just right off to the races a new item, Rotten Tomato. I mean, that's one of the most disgusting items I've seen as of yet, and it's literally just a tomato. It's not even like some venereal disease which has like a 1 in a 10,000 occurrence. Rotten tomatoes, on contrast, are actually pretty common, you would say, right? I'm not sure what it does, but I don't think any of my red tomato tears has actually hit an enemy, so I can't say. So, like I said before, I've been playing this a bit since yesterday, and actually, I'll have to say the game is quite a bit harder, or maybe I was just really tired. It's one or the other, the jury's still out on that one, but it does feel genuinely harder, and especially considering this is a new save file, which means that, because this game has progressive difficulty, so the farther you are into the run... Oh, Rotten Tomato? Do they like take more damage? It looks like it. And maybe the tears themselves do a bit more damage? That seems interesting. So yeah, the game gets a bit harder as you actually progress, which means that as I actually unlock more stuff on this save file, it's only gonna get harder, not easier, so... we'll see how that turns out. But for so far, I'm actually having a really nice time. I haven't actually unlocked any of the new content of Repentance, and I don't know how to do it actually, and I'm staying away from spoilers, so I'm gonna figure it out on my own. It's probably just a matter of playing enough. Another new item. It looks like 9 volt, but it has bones at the top, which is definitely spicy. So yeah, I haven't unlocked any of the new content, but I have seen, I would say, like 20, 10, maybe 10, 15 new items, and they all have such interesting effects. I have to say, with Antibirth Plus, when they added new items, a lot of the effects were very, I mean, I wouldn't say non-consequential, but they just weren't like super interesting, at least that's how it felt to me. They've had like items which already existed, except now it's a trinket or something like that. But now the item effects are genuinely interesting, so if I can dare to spoil one of the items is literally a spinning top, or Beyblade, if maybe that's vernacular you're more familiar with. And it literally turns you into a Beyblade. It gives you a lot of speed and you bounce around like crazy. I did see that in the drop. I'm gonna take it after I defeat enemies, because of course if I lose my spirit heart now, I'm just gonna lose it, and you know, if I take red heart damage, I can heal it, and then I can take the spirit heart for next floor. So that's just prudent gameplay. Maybe now with the health bar, I can actually see what the tomato item does. So the item I was talking about literally just turns you into a Beyblade, and it's amazing. It gives you a lot of speed. It doesn't give you oh, it slows enemies down too. Sorry, I keep jumping through the train of thought. I really thought that today I might have something more coherent going on, but apparently that was a pipe dream. And I mean, I just never was a coherent person anyway, like in the first place. So I think this only makes sense. I might try to find the secret room. I'm not trying to go for boss rush or anything like that. It's way too early for me to be worried about going fast. I'll do it once I get familiar with the game a bit more. So, the Beyblade. Yeah, you turn into a Beyblade, you bounce around like crazy, and it deals a ton of damage, but the downside is that you don't actually have any damage resistance, which means that you actually get hit as well, so, you know, that's a bummer. And I'm not sure if that's a good change, but considering how much damage you do, if you compare it up with another card or another item, which gives you temporary invincibility, I think it might be actually like an insanely good item. So yeah, if you happen to find it, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Oh, wait, he attacked his own comrades, so it makes them hostile towards others. So this tomato items just feels like it does 7 things in one. I don't think it actually increases the damage I do, which was my original hypothesis, but it makes enemies deal damage, so the other enemies attracted, like flies. Like flies are attracted to rotten tomatoes. I'm pretty sure a lot of other creatures as well. I would say actually that... Oh, basement, I haven't got hit. That's nice. I would actually say that in terms of rotten tomatoes, or like rotten food in general, humans are pretty unique in the fact that we do not like to eat it. That's brimstone. That's just brimstone and a new item. I'm taking both, you know, I'm doing it. Let's just see how if brimstone is any different. And let's see if it has any synergy with whatever the hell this is. Ocular Rift. Or maybe I should have taken the new item first to see if there's any difference, and then brimstone on top of that. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Considering that brimstone can sometimes override synergies, or at least hide their effects. Never mind. I see that the Ocular Rift has appeared. So I'm assuming there's just like a chance of it appearing, and then it seems like it attracted some things towards it. Now see, that's what I'm talking about. This is a YouTuber. Second floor Brimstone, Ocular Rift, got all kinds of things going on here. So another thing I wanted to talk about, maybe I missed my train of thought, but I think that's understandable considering the situation we're finding ourselves in. Oh no, the rotten tomatoes, that's the one. So yeah, we're pretty unique in the fact that we don't eat rotten food like a lot of other like animals, creatures on Earth. Like even dogs, you know, if you had a pet dog, you'll know those suckers eat anything they're gonna find under their mouths. Including like bugs, fungi, you know, there's like a million species of just like bacteria which will probably eat that rotten tomato. So I'm not a biologist, I don't know how correct that is, but I just feel like that's the case. The other thing I was trying to say, that repentance actually feels a lot more, I will say, balanced in terms of how it gives you upgrades. So I don't know if it's just a change due to the item pools or something like that, but it really does feel like, to some extent, it's much rarer, at least it didn't actually happen to me, that I would exit, like, let's say the 3rd floor without any stat upgrades. So even the runs which felt weak and I actually ended up losing, so I actually had a decent like tier upgrade. I just didn't have any damage, for example, and the items I've received weren't useless, they just weren't like top tier, which makes it of course harder to to win a run. But it's so it feels like there are still like bad runs, so to say, but at the same time I feel like the losses were more of my fault yesterday than the game not necessarily giving me good items to play around with. So it feels better in that regard, but of course this is just preliminary testing. I haven't unlocked the harder difficulties, like I said. I haven't even gotten past Mom's Heart, because it's not unlocked. Actually, that's a lie, I went to Shoal once. Okay, so the Ocular Rifts attract enemies and tiers and items. And it seemed like it did a little bit of damage, so that's nice. Let me just blow this up. Okay. That's my cue to leave. Oh, the little pinlets, I have to say, one of my favorite enemies. Because it feels like they fit a lot of room layouts without making it so much harder. Because they're pretty easy to dodge, but if you're not paying attention, they're gonna get you, and that's a mess. So the Ocular Rift item, at first glance, it feels like it would be much more useful if I had it on tiers instead of Brimstone. Because Brimstone, what happens with Brimstone, it just puts it at the end. Oh, D7. Does this reroll rooms, or does it reroll... I think it rerolls rooms, right? Or does it reroll... No, it's rooms, Another new item, wow. So I was saying, so if I had tiers, the rift I assume would appear where the tier hit, and that's usually at the enemy, right? So you would get immediate effects from the damage, and as well as the magnetic properties of the rifts. But with Brimstone, they appear at the end of the beam, which just ends up missing a lot of enemies. Oh, that's a new... I saw this boss yesterday, and I thought he was so cool. Like, he has to excavate to get to you, and then the arena is kind of changing, and I found that so freaking cool. Yeah. He likes swinging a lot, and he spawns these rocks. He's a cool little boss, but he didn't strike me as super difficult yesterday or today. So wait, if I use this 7, can I fight him again? No. Okay. I'm fighting a room I've already fought before, so that's a change, I think. I actually didn't use D7 a lot, mostly because I have better spacebar items, and usually when you find D7, it's in the chest, and it's like, I don't really need this right now. Except in the chest, it's pretty good, because then you can get more items out of chests, in the chest. You know what I'm trying to say. Alright. Pills. I realized there was a new trinket, and I'm gonna pick it up as soon as I go back there. So, fret not if you're afraid. Wait, can I fight this room again? I can. Nice. I believe that the payouts are random, right? Like, so as soon as you finish a room, yeah, okay, good. I'm relearning the base concepts of the game. I like the D7. I think it's a nice item, especially with something like Brimstone, which just adds a lot of flair. You can clear enemies really quickly. You can just get a ton of stuff like that. Another detail I'd like to point out too, and hopefully YouTube doesn't mess this up, or because you can see it if you're watching like on mobile or something. But when Brimstone, like any Brimstone tier, not tier, laser, even little Brimstone hits enemies now, they're like little particles flying off at the point of impact, and it looks really cool. It feels like it adds a lot of like staying power to the beam. It's quite subtle, but I think it's such a cool effect. You know what? Let's go into the curse room. That's fine. I don't mind 3 blue spiders. Obviously, I would have hoped for more, but beggars can be choosers. I mean, I have Brimstone, so I'm not either. It's fine. Getting 3 blue spiders just means I didn't get red spiders, and that's what I'm excited about. So maybe here you can see it on this room, like a bit more clearly when I'm hitting them. There's like red pixels, which I don't know what they're meant to represent. Maybe blood, I don't know. Which kind of go in the direction of the beam where you hit the enemy, so it's nice in that regard. I'll just blow you up. Thank you, friend. Alright, and let's just head off to the next floor. So one thing I've been also rattling my brain about is how I'm gonna approach this little series, because obviously, you know, well, maybe it's not as obvious to you as it is to me, but I don't think I can sustain, nor I think it would be interesting to just record this, to record every single run of the new save file. I think that would be most boring, especially early on, because, like I said, not many things are unlocked. I'm mainly doing it for my own personal enjoyment and just having the pleasure of unlocking everything again and going through the challenges, etc. Because I haven't done that in a really long while. Oh, Devil Deal. Wait, so I can have 2 Brimstones? Do they stack? I mean, I have to try, right? I have to try. Like, it's just... This might be useless, but it might be amazing, so let's see. So the way... Oh, yeah. A+. Perfection. Luck way up. 10 luck up? Holy shit, that's good. I don't know what it does, but considering there are items which give you 1 luck up and they're trinkets, hopefully they're changed now, or this doesn't have a permanent effect, because it's only it said don't lose it. So maybe if we get hit or something like that, we get a B, and then our luck keeps decreasing or something like that. I'm not sure. So yeah, I was thinking about how to approach this series, and instead of just recording every single playthrough, which I think would be, like I said, not very interesting, I was thinking of just recording every now and then, and I think that would be a nice balance between having some sort of progression, because like every time you see the... Oh, nice. Wait, I can do this? That's really cool. That was an accident, but there you go. Because like every time you see a new video, you know it's gonna be a progression from the save file you've already seen before, but at the same time it doesn't give me the obligation to like record every single episode, and I think that's a nice balance. So on account for that, of course, there are some drawbacks, so I might not record some episodes which might be really interesting, like when we discover new like effects, or like new paths, or even new game modes. I don't know what else is in Repentance. But considering that Isaac is a game where I can just revisit all of those, The only thing we're really missing out on is my genuine reaction, and you know, maybe that's super important to some, but I feel like it's a nice like little trade-off for not having to like I said, record every single episode, because that would be actually infeasible with my schedule as well as like my overall throat situation, which does not lend itself to being spoken 7 hours a day, and that's about the time I have planned to play this game, at least in the early weeks. Okay, so I haven't used my active item yet, which is a bummer, because I thought the other one was a stone chest as well. Because it's a bummer, and I want to see if it works, so I'm just gonna do it now. You're telling me that this actually synergizes? That's amazing. Did you see that? Did you see it? I hope you saw it, because if you didn't see it, you're gonna see it again when we got to the boss. It's Brimstone, but it's better. So that's just a synergy that makes sense to me, because like, I mean, it's a kind of synergy which, let's put it another way, you wouldn't expect to work, or rather, if it didn't work, I don't think I would be disappointed. This is a new room layout, dude. Okay. This is gonna be a bit harder than we're used to. Okay. Oh. See, like I said, if you get hit, you lose it. Maybe if I picked it up again, I'd retain it, but it's gone, I guess, forever. So the sulfur synergy is the one I would expect to work. Not expect, but like if it didn't work, I wouldn't be surprised, considering it just gives you brimstone. But the fact it works just makes it all that much nicer. Like, it feels like they really put in a lot of detail and effort into designing some of these synergies. Right, I just spent my money. I can't buy another spirit heart. And I think that's just the general theme of Repentance, right? There's a lot of little things. Watch this. I know why I'm doing the sound effect, because the sound effect of the game is so much better. But it's actually really epic. Another new item, Eye of the Occult. What the hell? Wait, this is auto shooting. This is auto shooting. What the hell? That's amazing. I'm bewildered. This is amazing. Should I take this? I don't like. I feel like I should take this, but at the same time, I feel like if I take too many things, I'm just gonna end up dying. So, okay, let's start at the start. Let's give this guy a few red hearts, because we have a few to spare. I'm not gonna take this. I'm sorry. I know some people might be offended by that, and I hope it's not too much. But I don't want to lose this run. I want to preserve it, and I'm just gonna like roll with it. So, and I think spirit hearts are vital to my success. So Curse of Darkness, of course, as we all know, my biggest enemy. Can't see anything, especially now because the sun is shining right inside my room, which happens rarely because I'm like in a basement place, or like below ground, which means that the angle, I literally don't see what's going on. Okay, it's fine. Just do the wiggle. Just go up and down, and you know the enemies are gonna enemies gonna take damage. So another little anecdote that happened yesterday, which might not be interesting to some of you, but it was super entertaining for me. So sometimes, usually when I record, or when I used to record more often, what I would do is record the vocal tracks, so my commentary on like a different track. So I would record it in Audacity, and then Audacity, which is like a program for video and audio editing and engineering, sound mixing and stuff like that. It's quite potent. It's free, so you know, if you're interested in that and you haven't heard of it, maybe check it out. And then I record the actual footage, the game footage, and the game sound on a different track, so I can then edit those separately, and that's just good practice, I would say, in a lot of cases. because then it allows you to adjust the audio levels independently of one another, and if there's like any issues in the commentary, you can like edit that separately and stuff like that. And you know, that's just what I used to do and what a lot of people do. But yesterday I ended up forgetting recording my commentary in a different track, and I actually ended up recording it. I have to go right. I ended up recording it in the same file as the actual game, which might not sound that much of a catastrophe, but the problem is that my microphone is, let's say, very raw, and it is a little bit of processing to make it sound normal. So what ended up happening is when I started and I was super excited, like it was super loud to the point where audio was clipping. It was going like that's my best impression. So wait, are these act differently now, or maybe I'm just slower? It's possible. Oh my god, Robofly, Botfly. What is it? Does it fly around and shoot at enemies? Because that's really cool. Okay. Nice. Okay. So these are definitely faster, and Edmund has done it again. I just need to stand up because I literally don't see. Okay, I see where. I don't see the map. Almost walked on the spikes there. Let's pick up this penny. Perfect, perfect. So yeah, I didn't record it on the same, and then I had to like finagle it with some post-editing tricks, and I think it's bearable. But I was just like, wow, a man doesn't record for 3 years and he literally forgets the tools of the trade. What a shame. And I feel like this really just speaks to me on like a soul level, because you know, when you put in effort into something, there's a lot of I realized I just lost my core of Babylon. Just let's say it was intentional because I need the heart because I have a strong run. Okay, it just it just speaks to me on a soul level, because I really want like when you put in effort into something, a lot goes into learning it, right? And then after time, like, you don't do it for a while, and then you just kind of forget it. But it's not like you really forget it, you just have to relearn it. And that process of relearning can often be interesting, but then sometimes it's really annoying, because you make the same mistakes you did when you first started. It makes you feel like an amateur. Obviously, I have to say that a channel with 800 subscribers is a professional level grade channel which has everything figured out, but you know what I'm trying to say, and that's kind of how I felt yesterday. But actually, I'm trying to spin it into a positive, because it made me feel like a little kid again, because you know, I started recording YouTube when I was when I was in high school. And then I played Repentance when it first came out, and I just finished high school. Not Repentance, Isaac. It was just a lot of fun overall, and it just made me feel nostalgic for a time I used to live. And then video editing, also another load of fun. It's all things I did as a kid, and it's, or not as a kid. Again, I say as a kid, but I'm just referring to my formative years between like 14 and 20, which you know, in some countries you might not, or maybe in most countries you wouldn't classify that as a child, but maybe that's how I felt back then, especially looking from my current perspective. But yeah, playing this game like really brought back some like nice nostalgic feelings for a time that wasn't that long ago. To be fair, I think it's just nice that we have this opportunity. Okay, so let me just start by saying libraries are cool. We have an awesome library in school where I now work at, and that rhymed. And you again, like, I'll take full credit for that. So yeah, I work as a teacher now. That's an exciting job, mostly because it's such a good fuel for anecdotes, because like literally every single day you go into work, you're gonna be dealing with a ton of different people, a ton of different, let's say, different minded people. So some of them are gonna be, you know, students, which maybe don't have as developed of a world sense yet, especially now during COVID times. So, you know, you're bound to find something wacky from that regard. And then oh, I know this item. And then another part is the teachers, which have been working at the same job for like several years, and they're also jaded in different regards. So before I move on, I just want to explain this item, because so it's basically an active item which you can turn around, and basically wherever you shoot, that's where it moves. And then when you press the spacebar, you actually teleport on top of it. But the one bit I found out, which maybe is secret, maybe not secret, but maybe not as obvious, if you teleport on top of an enemy, you actually have invisibility frames, and you deal some damage on top of that. So it's actually a really good tool if you don't have a lot of damage, especially early on, because it pretty much allows you to assassinate enemies with teleportation. And that's just so freaking cool, isn't it? The fact this works is amazing. And the sound effect, like the fact it feels like a stronger beam and like the screen shakes a bit, that's so cool. So I was talking about schools. So yeah, especially now during COVID times where everyone is a little bit insane, in the best way possible, of course. It's interesting because you hear a lot of little stories, like a lot of different anecdotes happen to you, and it's just a fueling machine. Like you can tell. I could be sitting here telling stories for days just about the things that happened to me in the past week. That's not true, but you know what? You know the general vibe I'm going for. So in that regard, like if you're someone who thrives on anecdotes, and you're not sure about your career occupation, and if you're choosing your job based on the fact of how many anecdotes you're gonna get at your job, like I feel like a school is a great place to be for that. Because like in an office job, you might find some of that, you know, like there's gonna be that co-worker which is gonna like bring in a weird sandwich in the whole like canteen, or like the fridge is gonna smell bad because they put a fish tuna sandwich in the fridge but they didn't close it properly, so now the lingering smell is gonna beguile you for years. That's, you know, that's just the matter of being at an office job. But ultimately it's not like a super interesting anecdote, right? Like it's something that we've all heard before. It's something that's happened. Every now and then you're gonna get something really spicy, but if you really want to go to the heart of anecdotes, it's, I would say, unpredictability. And really, who is more unpredictable than first of all teenagers, and second of all latent frustrated adults? So and you get both of those at the school, so if you're I feel like it's good in that regard. Okay, I'll stop that bit before it gets too old, and let's just focus on destroying Mam with our improved Brimstone beam. And literally the fact I don't have to shoot just makes me feel better about this item. It's just like my carpal tunnel. I don't have it, but I feel like with this item I'm less likely to get it. Okay, so I'm still not sure if range upgrades do anything to Brimstone. That's something that wasn't the case, and I'm pretty sure is not the case. Okay, but it's still, I don't even know how it would affect it. Like I thought about this a lot before, and I was wondering like how range could affect Brimstone, because it's essentially a limitless beam. That's its beam. That's its whole thing. So adding more range on top of that is one of those paradoxes that teachers get you when they're trying to explain infinity to you. So, how many numbers are there? They're like, oh, I don't know, 1,000. It's like, okay. Can you count more than that? Can you count to 1001? And it's like, yeah. Like, okay, how many numbers are there now? I don't know, 5,000? And then the teacher, or like whoever's asking this inane questions, is again, well, can you count to 5,001? It's like, yeah. And at some point, like when you explain this to a kid, their brain is gonna break and they're just gonna give up, and they're gonna be like, 1,000,000? Yeah, that's the biggest number, dude. Like this, we can't go any further than that. Then like, wait till I tell you about Jeff Bezos. That's, you're gonna be in for a shock. Okay, so brains. Wait, spikes, please move out of the way. Thank you. I'm not sure what I'm actually trying to find on this floor, but I've never. So one problem I think that Utero and the womb have, especially, is the fact that there's really nothing to do on the floor. once you find the boss. Which again might be by design. Like, I understand like on hard, not on hard, but on runs where you're maybe a bit weaker, that's a good thing, because then essentially you don't need to, what am I trying to say? Let me rephrase all of that. So on weaker runs, it makes sense to bolt for the boss and go to the next floor, but on runs where you're strong like this, I feel like, oh, stapler, I didn't even see that. That's just a damage upgrade, I think. And a school bag, which gives you 2 active items. Yeah, but on strong runs like this one, it just feels like maybe it's a little bit of a missed opportunity not to have like some extra added challenge. I don't know. Especially when you combine it with the fact you have to make it to Hush, which is the 30-minute mark. I'm not sure if the Hush is unlocked. No, it's not unlocked, because as soon as I beat Mom's Heart, I'm gonna get a cutscene. So I have all the time in the world. And honestly, I'm just enjoying this like crazy combination of items, which is basically just 2 items. So I'm just gonna revel in it for as long as I can. And as soon as I said that, of course, I went to the next floor and basically contradicted my exact words. Oh, what is this? This guy looks freaking cool. Wait, he exploded into more Gibbs, which turned into humans. He spawned like 4 homunculus. Homunculi? That's the plural of homunculus. And I've been gunning for a Full Metal Alchemist rewatch. That's a great anime. I've been thinking about it, and I'm always like, no, I have to wait for the time to be right. And I don't know what that exactly means. I just feel like I have to be in a certain mood to really appreciate Full Metal Alchemist when I'm not super busy with life and other things. I guess maybe that's exactly what it means, so I'm not that confused about it, as maybe it first sounded. But does anybody else get that? Like when you're trying to watch a show that you really like, or you know has like a special place in your heart, and you're just kind of waiting around for the time to be right to watch it or rewatch it, and then at some point, like for me at least, like I know that at some point that time comes. I'm not the person who puts off things indefinitely. But it definitely, I would say, takes longer than I would like. Especially considering that once I start watching something that I really enjoy, I just get in the mood instantly. It's like, oh, Full Metal Alchemist, this is cool, because they have alchemy and they draw magical circles and stuff like that. Okay, I was required a tiny bit of concentration not to get hit there. I'm not sure what my beam is doing, but it feels like it was intentionally dodging me. Experimental pill, yeah, this is the new kind of pill, which basically just gives you a random stat upgrade and a random stat downgrade. So in essence, unless you gain a bit more stats than you lose from it, it's just a neutral pill, in my eyes. So if you think that this changes my argument for how good pills are, it doesn't. I'm still gonna take them, even if it reduces my tear my tear rate and increases my range or shot speed. And you might think that's bad. I disagree. I mean, it's bad. That particular pill is bad, but that doesn't make all pills bad. And that's a hill I'm willing to die on. Okay, so this fella. If I didn't have that Lucky Penny sound effect was really freaking cool. If I didn't have flight, I wouldn't even bother with that room for a sec. Like, are you kidding me? Let's just finish this up. So, whenever you want to appear, it's gonna be alright with me. Well, thanks. These enemies are kind of annoying. They're like stationary turrets, except they obviously fly around and they're not stationary. It's actually, it makes the enemy quite a bit harder, because you can't just wait it out. You kind of have to be proactive about waiting, which feels a lot harder, because it's just easier to stand, obviously. But when you're moving, oh my god, this pattern, that was really cool. Cute baby. So I guess no devil deal, no angel room, so we can't continue this run. And it means that it's gonna end here, a bit anticlimactically, but still, thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching this far if you have, and hopefully you'll see you in the next one. Bye!